Good evening, welcome to the September 11th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Thank you everyone for attending. We have a quorum with all of the board members in attendance. Please rise as we pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
If we can all remain standing just for a second, I think that everyone knows that today is the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 incident. Back in September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists hijacked 3 planes. 2 of the planes flew into the World Trade Center, 1 into the Pentagon. At that time, we lost 2,997 lives. It was the worst terrorist attack on America. So I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that. I still remember as when I was almost finishing up my teaching career, I taught in Brooklyn, and I actually saw the second flight go into the World Trade Center. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. It actually was the impetus that prompted me to leave the city, because I grew up in New York City. So if we could take a moment of silence for that. Also for the tragic events of Georgia. As we know, there was a student that didn't go to school and unfortunately killed 4 individuals, 2 students and 2 adults. So if we could take a moment of silence for 9/11 and the Georgia incident. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have the superintendent updates.
All right, so this is a little more happy in terms of the news that I have to share with the community and the board. We had a Labor Day last week, September 3rd. I have to happy to announce that everything is working well. Our teachers are very prepared, our students seem very happy. We had a little bit of hiccups with transportation, but I would say Ms. Laughlin is a little bit on top of it, so I think it was smooth in terms of transportation from previous years, so I'm very happy about that. This week is a very busy week for the district. We have Spirit Week. We have 2 open house. Last night we had the elementary open house, which we have primary grades, preschool to grade 2. Thursday, that was at 6 p.m. Thursday, we had an open house for the intermediate grades, grades 3 to 5. Same time, 6 p.m. We do start with Mr. Ritchie and Ms. Jackson giving a presentation to the parents. It's roughly about 25 minutes, and then we break them off to the classroom so that they can have time with the teachers. They can understand some of the expectations, some of the great things that the teachers are doing with the kids throughout the school year. We are encouraging everyone to please attend. It is a good time for parents and guardians and community members to get to know the teachers, to kind of get to know the building, to get to know the flow of some of the things that they're doing at the elementary. I do thank Mr. Babsian, Ms. Slonsky, and Mr. Kennedy for attending last night. It's great when we have board members attend these events. They do see from the community perspective that you guys are involved. You know what's going on. I think 2 of you are scheduled, or 2 or 3 are scheduled to attend Thursday. And what the board is actively doing this year is that they're sort of splitting up the activities, which is great. So that, and this is something I kind of warned them about, is that we do have a lot of events throughout the school year. So this week, the 10th grade float is being hosted at my house. So I was telling Mr. Babsian before we started the meeting that I was building the float, and I think Mr. Kennedy was doing the same thing. And my wife was keeping time for me at about 5:30. I said, oh, I gotta run inside because I have to go put my suit on and go to open house. So, like I said, we had Thursday open house at Clayton Huey. Of course, this weekend is homecoming. So Friday we had the pep rally. Friday night we had numerous games, like the football game. Saturday morning at 9 a.m. we had the parade where we have water floats and the different groups get together and they parade down Main Street. The classes are judged, so who knows who's going to win. I think the Cincinnati's float probably has a good chance. But what I hear, I think it's really good. So, but that's Saturday morning. we have a ton of games going on that day, and then at the end of the night, we have the 9 p.m. bonfire, which is kind of almost anticlimactic because all the work we do, we take all the wood and we kind of dump it into the bonfire. That's what we do. That's how the bonfire, comes to the flame that it is. It's insane, but it's almost, and I think I said this to Mr. Babbitt, it's almost like a catharsis, because we work so hard, and then we kind of see like the culmination of our work, and then it gets literally destroyed in like 10 minutes. But those are the activities for this week. So for all of you in the community, please come out. The Booster Club out is going to be running concession stands. We have a lot of activities going on, and I do want to thank all of the community partners that did come out for open house. We had PTO, we had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts there. We had the library. We had a lot of different activities that they were able to conduct at open house, and it did just really show like a partnership with us. It showed the partnership that we have with community members. We do set them up with tables, and they were there literally the entire night. And just so that for the parents that may be hesitant to come, it's just an hour. So the principal speech is about 20 minutes, and then the teachers get together with the parents and the guardians for about 25 minutes. They answer any questions you may have, and you're really out of there at 7 o'clock. So please, I encourage everyone to come out, show support for the staff, and find out what your kids are doing in the classroom. All right? I believe that is my report.
That's it. Okay. Thank you. So questions and comments regarding tonight's agenda only. Does anybody have any questions? This is the opportunity for persons who wish to speak or who have written letters to the board regarding topics that are included on this agenda. Speakers are asked to sign in with the district clerk prior to approaching the microphone and indicate your topic of comment. Please keep comments brief and speak for no longer than 3 minutes. Members of the public will have the opportunity to speak about any topic at the end of the meeting. Does anybody have anything regarding this agenda? No? Donations?
So if you want to read it, you want
Okay.
to speak to it? Okay. So we do have a $1,000 donation grant. It is something that was generated by our athletic director, Mr. Dode. He forwarded the information to one of our teachers, Mr. Jack Nichola, who's a business teacher at high school. He applied for the grant and he received a $1,000 grant to support the athletic program. And just to explain what the NFHS stands for, is the National Federation of High School Association, where it's the governing body for all of New York State sports. So it is something that isn't necessarily readily given to a lot of districts. I believe we're 1 or 2 districts in all of Suffolk County that receive this grant. So I want to send a thank you to Mr. Dole for providing the information to Mr. Mitchell, for his time to develop the application and submit it, and obviously thank you to the NFHS for recognizing it and giving us this $1,000 grant that will be used in very useful ways across our district.
Thank you. So be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education accepts the following donations of a $1,000 grant from the NFHS network. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Consent agenda approval. Our adopted rules of parliamentary procedure, Robert's rules, provide for a consent agenda listing several items for approval of the board by a single motion. Most of the items listed under the consent agenda have gone through the board review and recommendation. So be it resolved, a motion to approve the consent agenda items 8A through 12B. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
Just on the one contract with the bus routes and extracurricular, I know I kind of reached out. They have to figure out a way to get us there on time. I thought it was a 5-year deal I was looking at because I looked at the SED paperwork, but it's a 1 year. I know our options are limited. It's definitely tricky. We're a small school, so I'm sure we're not as big of a budget to them. But to have the athletic teams getting there late not only affects our kids, but the other schools the officials, everything gets up to pay that we have to do. And, I think that we have to kind of keep on them to understand that we can't have this happen numerous times, and as well as like Terry Posey's was at one point last year. So, I see it, but I also want it to be, knowing that we need to get to places on time so that we can feel good about sending the student athletes places, and we don't have to pay extra money because our coaches are sitting for 2 hours longer than they have to, or the officials are waiting for us to do.
So Mr. Coe did bring that to my attention that it's occurring already this year. As Dr. Soto said, we did have a pretty good start on transportation, better than we had in the past 4 years, so I'm very happy with that. Do still have some things that I'm working through with them, but I did forward the concern to them, just waiting on responses. Obviously, with the opening of school, we do ask everybody for about 2 weeks' time till we settle everything in. And until they unbury themselves, last week they had every day was a first day of school for them with all their districts that they.
Yeah.
So Montauk Bus pretty much transports everybody from us east, unless the district owns their own buses, which is really only East Hampton, Southampton, and Sag Harbor. So everybody's relying on and Riverhead, yes, everyone's relying on Montauk Bus. But well aware of the issues, and I do ask that as issues are arising and the parents that I've spoken to, as I make corrections and we fix things, if it goes backwards, I need to know so that I can get back on top of them to help
Yeah,
move these
it's
things along.
not a fun conversation, but it's definitely.
It's conversations that have to be had, and it's not okay. It's not acceptable anymore, where I truly feel we're out of that, there's still a lack of drivers, but it's nowhere near severe as where we were 2-3 years ago. Like I said, we had a quiet. So, we have drivers, buses arriving on time at dismissal, so that's running smoothly. It's now the extracurricular that I gotta get them to focus on and make sure we're running it as efficiently as we can.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Was there anything else for discussion? Anybody?
Item 12B, the district safety plan, district-wide safety plan. I know I raised some issues about this. So last year, it came to light that there was some issues, let's say, that weren't getting handled the way we would have liked the safety in the district and so forth. And for me, it hasn't really been handled adequately, how we make sure that in the future, things like this don't happen. And I think part of it should be board oversight, needs to be a little more structured. And so I'm not sure what the feeling is, but I think something could be written in that there is a process for providing the board with feedback on how the safety plans are developed, reviewed, and tested. And it's fine that we're aware of it this year and that we're acting on it, but it shouldn't just be a matter of habit. It should be something that's documented and written down going forward. We'll have staffing change potentially, the board turnover, so it can't be the kind of thing that just is handed down, word of mouth. And so I expressed some of this, and I just wanted to see where the thinking is on that.
So are you referring to like actual oversight documentation within the plan itself? Is that what you mean? Or like feedback, debriefing mechanisms?
Yes, specifying how that's going to happen. How is the board going to obtain awareness? Things are getting reviewed in a timely fashion, that the confidence is there, that building level plans are actually in place, that the entire framework actually works, right? Because we saw last year it did work for certain instances. And we don't want to find that out again in the same way. I think we want to be proactive. We want to test the system on our own, have some kind of drills built in so that we know if something's not working. If it's as simple as a door alarm that's not functional, we should find that out before somebody breaks in through that door. Something like that. So I'd like to see that specified in a structured way so that we know when it's going to happen, what's going to happen, who's going to perform that, who's going to report back to the board, and things like that, whose responsibilities.
Understood. So we could definitely look at that and we can lay it out. So you did raise, Marcus, a lot of suggestions, which we changed every item that you identified. And they were all very good, valid revision options that we had to look at.
Mhm.
This piece, we do have to involve principals, we have to involve the safety committee to make a determination, how does that work, how do we lay that out? So we will definitely, maybe we can put that in the first, like,
I have it on the agenda already for our first meeting, which is in November, but we can also start talking about it at our admin.
we should.
At
So-
the admin level, start talking as a team for logistics, and then bring it to the safety
We
committee.
have an administrative council meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that we're gonna figure this all out.
No,
Okay, so it's a living document.
It is an organic document that we can change.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Yes.
we may approve it in
Of course.
3 months.
We could, yes, we,
it's a live document as thing, you know, as you said, staff come and go as we make changes to the board. That stuff has to continuously be updated, so it's a living document that we work within, especially the building level plans, which, as I've explained before, are very highly confidential, so they're not posted anywhere, they're just sent to SED and to Suffolk Police. But with regards to this piece, we can put this within the district-wide plan, just so that the community has awareness that the board is overseeing what's going on in the safety of the district. But yeah, I already put it on my agenda for my November meeting, but we can start having a conversation at that.
Yeah, I am honestly impatient because it's.
No, it's
spring
and-
and.
and Marcus, you should, but in this particular regard, you should be impatient. So we don't mind that. When we talk about the safety of our students, and I do have to commend the community for addressing some of the incidents we've had on Main Street. Because I think everyone sort of galvanized together to address it. Everyone was contacting local police, everyone was contacting local legislators, and I believe that the situation has somewhat improved from what we've seen. We increased security. So my suggestion to everyone in the community is that we need to work together to ensure that we identify, deter, and address any safety issues that may occur. And this is a perfect example. So we are meeting with the administrative team next week on Wednesday. This will be the first thing that we address. To look at what kind of mechanism we can put in place to include this portion as part of our safety.
Yeah, and it's something that the board needs to know about, so
Absolutely.
if it gets to be, I don't know, next spring, we still haven't.
No, it's not.
Then we
It's
want
not.
to come back to you and
It's
see what's
definitely
going on.
Absolutely.
Have we ever gotten briefs on fire drills, lockdowns, evacuations?
That's done at the safety committee, so it's in the minutes of the safety
Okay.
committee meeting, like that's where
So we'd be able to
the
see
conversation
that.
happens, and it's in the minutes, yeah, that we share. Yep.
And then like, I know, I can tell you one drill that I had that we never practiced was basically we had to go to an undisclosed location and have busing to get to that location. And it was actually a real drill at the time. And that was like 18 years into my career that we never drilled that. And it was tough because we had to figure out transportation, how to get the kids on the bus. Parents couldn't pick up their kids because we had to make sure we were accountable for them. I don't remember the exact name of the drill.
It's a reunification.
Yeah, is that what it is? I mean, that was, I'm gonna be honest, as an educator, it was one of our toughest ones because it was almost like walking out the field day, we had to put everybody in lines. And then we had to, you know, we can't tell you the location where pickup is because you're trying to protect the safety of the kids. You know, what I think about when we talk about the safety plan, I think about here, like, you're right in Southampton where I work, we do have our own buses, it's a lot easier. How would Montauk respond to that in accordance to what we need to do? So it might be something that we have to drill with them in order to refine that.
So that's where we kind of changed the times of our safety committee this year, is to make sure we're having our staff from buildings and grounds, maintenance be part of that committee, teaching staff be part of the committee, administrative staff, as well as Montauk bus join that committee, our BOSA safety officer to join that committee. We want all of those people involved for that particular reason, is to be there at the table when we have these conversations, and do these plans and set that going
It
forward.
was eye-opening,
Right,
not so real, it was a real drill, and
right.
we drilled it.
Yep.
You know, and it was eye-opening because it was very different. We never talked about it, it just kind of happened. And then, you know, because you're not used to those kind of drills, but in today's world, we kind of started with it, and it was good. Like I said, I think that was like 18 years in the career at that point. And it was something that we're always learning. So, and we still weren't perfect, but at least we had a
You
procedure.
have an idea of what's.
Yeah, you kind of be like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
The kids understood, you know, the importance of staying off their phones and not sharing locations and all that stuff. So it was a good dialogue that we were able to have as a staff to the students, but then also, like I said, I kind of just think about the correlation between busing and, so I'm glad to hear that we're meeting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And there's a safety community too that the public can potentially.
Yes,
use too.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're on the website, they're on the calendar.
And
Yeah.
put on.
Yes,
It's a public-
absolutely. It's a public meeting. All committee meetings are public.
And our security is part of that?
Yeah, they'll be involved in that as well.
Anything else for discussion? No? So all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I would like to take one moment to just acknowledge someone in the audience, Ms. Kate Dittmeyer. Thank you for coming tonight. Kate is going to be acting as our interim director of special education beginning tomorrow. So, thank you, Kate, for taking on this responsibility. I've known Kate for many, many years. Kate has started with us as a paraprofessional, and she grew as a teacher. She was one of our first teachers in a new program that we had, a 612 program, a self-contained program at the elementary school. And she did an amazing job. She then moved to middle school as a self-contained teacher in 1211. She was even at a stint in our 811 program. She comes to us with amazing experience, multiple certifications, literacy, special education, general education. Of course, she has a certification as an administrator. And I think she's going to be a great asset to the district, a great partner with me in special education. It's something that's going to still be hard for me to let go. I apologize, but I am going to try to let it go. But welcome, Kate, and thank you for taking on this responsibility.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to working in the district in a role and capacity. So I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I've been still joining us for about another month, but yes, but welcome, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so general public comments. Members of the public who desire to address or question the board on any topic related to the board work are welcome to do so at this time. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes to a point. Reports if necessary or required. Would anybody like to say anything? Anybody?
It looks like you're trying to palm me, right? So say something.
Every meeting, he'll say something eventually.
All right, you say something.
Well, we always appreciate.
Take your time, yes.
Well, what's really cool is that now with the legislation that came down earlier, that we have to have eventually a student as part of the board, right? So,
There you go.
never know, Paul.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you sound on that so he believes you and not just hear? Explain
You're
what
never
you
gonna
just
see
said.
them in the meeting now.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
The student is gonna have a seat at the table. And that student's job would be also to then work with the student body to be the voice of the student body, however that looks and shapes as the time goes on within the district, which is gonna be a nice addition because you guys get to give us the different lenses that are coming at you and keep us in a fresh perspective rather than us kind of growing older and maybe we missed the touch a little bit, right?
And so sometimes students remind us of why we do the work we do. I know myself, I'm kind of removed from like the classroom for some time now. So my ability to work with students, have a conversation with you, kind of reminds me why I still do what I do, why I love doing the work I do. So not to add additional pressure to you, but you, I think moving forward, it is something that, who knows, you may want to consider. And we're all good, nice people, so.
Well, the fun part is you can be a team and then you guys can grow as a person. So you don't have to be the forefront.
Exactly.
Can I just take a moment to thank, and we generally comments, sorry? There's a lot that, I just want to establish on homecoming because the community connection is definitely something that's part of our board priority. There's a ton of work that goes into homecoming. It doesn't just happen. There's booster clubs that are putting the work in all over the place. They're looking for food donations. They're looking for volunteers. The Red Devils Booster Club is in full throttle right now, trying to get everything going. The advisors are working diligently to try to keep everybody moving in forward directions while the kids are coming off the athletic fields. The coaches are probably trying to keep the kids focused on the game so that not homecoming floats, but the games. But at the end of the day, I think, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time. I think it's important for us to recognize the work that not only the faculty, but the community is putting in to make it happen for us. Because without that connection, the homecoming parade and all that would not be a part of the process. It would kind of go away on its own. So it is definitely a connection that, we want to thank everybody that has put the time in for. And then, also when you look at the fields, when I was looking at the K2 open house, kind of like when I was in school, I was looking out the window a little bit. But when I was looking out the window, I was looking at the sports. And if you look at our fields are always filled with kids. There's flag football, there's PAL football, there's the town connection that helps us have the turf. You have NYO soccer, you have the travel soccer, you have Red Devils baseball, you have Little League baseball, you have the softball now, there's Red Devil softballs going. In a small town, there's a lot. And that speaks to kind of what we can continuously do here. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, one, I love looking out the window and seeing all the sports and the activities going. And then two, but just making sure that we take the time to thank everyone for all their efforts to make our athletic program, but also then our our academic programs, and then our youth programs grow. Because without that, we might not have kids playing sports.
Agree, absolutely, well said, Brian, thank you, I appreciate that. And one of the things that Mr. Senator didn't mention, he's one of the individuals that is opening up his house to the 9th grade club. He's doing a lot of the work, so thank you, Brian, we really appreciate it.
The kids are going to fun.
And it's really, when you do work like this, it goes back to the kids. You get to see the kids in a completely different way. You get to see them out of the classroom, you get to see them even out of the field. And it's nice when they come together for some united activity. And they take pride in it, they want it to look nice, and they want to do the best job that they can. So I think after this, I'll probably go back to my house and start building the float again. So, but it's nice to see, especially Saturday morning, we all get together at St. John's Church. That's where we all convene at 8:30, 9 o'clock. You see, you really begin to see the work that all of the parents and advisors put in and kids put into it. It's really a nice event, and it brings the community together. It really does. So please, for those of you listening from home, if you see it tomorrow on the recording, please come out and show support for the community and show support of all the work that our kids, teachers, parents, grandparents, uncles, nieces, everyone gets involved in this process. All right? So thank you.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing. So please come out this weekend. There's events Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Support the kids, support everybody that's involved. All of the community groups, the community partnerships, the districts, everybody. Let's unite and support each other. So thank you for that. And our next meeting is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024, approximately 7 p.m. in the high school library. That is 311 Frowen Road. What is this? September 25th, 2024. Yeah. So it's Wednesday, September 25th, 2024, approximately 7 p.m. in the high school, 311 Frowen Road, St. Richards, in the library. Okay, so the next order of business, I would like to get a motion to adjourn the public session. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. We are going to go into executive session, but when we come out of executive session, we are not going to take any action. So can I get a motion to enter into executive for the purposes of collective bargaining agreements for the CMTA and the CMA?
Motion.
Second?
Come on, Dougie. Second.
Too late. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.